Not every change announces what it is. Sometimes something familiar simply stops behaving as it should, and no explanation arrives to take its place. This tale begins with that kind of uncertainty. Its first sign is not a stranger at the door, nor a sound beyond the walls, but a silence inside the house. McEachern lived in Crossbrig years ago. The smith had only one child, a boy just into his teens, known for his strength and easy laughter. Then, quite suddenly, the boy became ill. He took to his bed, letting the hours drag by unresponsive. No one understood what troubled him. Pressed for an answer, the boy gave none. Whether from refusal or inability, he kept his suffering private. Each day, his body thinned. His face grew sallow and stretched, time aging him where he lay. His father watched, and so did others, fearing the illness would claim him soon. After the boy had been lying unchanging for weeks, never improving, never declining, always kept to bed, yet eating with startling vigor. The smith stood beside his quiet forge, hands idle, the day emptied of direction. He watched his thoughts drift, work unstarted, his gaze fixed on the inert iron. Then, with the afternoon settled dark and still, an old man entered the workshop. The smith recognized him at once, a figure known in the village for explanations no one else would give. The smith recounted plainly the event that had shadowed his home. The old man's face held unbroken, that severe quiet as he listened. The old man listened without moving, and a long while passed before he answered. At last he spoke, his words measured through the delay. "It is not your son you have got. The boy has been carried away by the fairy people, and they have left a changeling in his place." The smith's voice cut the air. "Alas, and what then am I to do?" He paused, eyes flickering away. "How am I ever to see my own son again?" "I will tell you how," the old man said. His voice was measured. "But first, you must be certain it is not your own child. Gather as many empty eggshells as you find. Step into his room and lay the shells where he cannot miss them. With care, fetch water, using the eggshells as vessels. Carry them in pairs, lifting them as though they are almost too heavy. Set each one, when filled, in a ring by the fire. Attend to every detail as seriously as the task demands." The smith collected the broken eggshells without delay, entering the silent room. He followed each step as instructed, his movements precise. A shout of laughter burst from the bed. The boy's voice called out, sharp and bright, "I am 800 years old, and I have never seen the like of that before." The smith left the room and relayed the words to the old man, his report exact. "Well now," the wise man said, his attention drifting, "did I not say that boy was not your own? Your son is in Borochile, kept in a mound. There is an intruder in your house. Remove him with haste, and you may see your son again. Build a great bright fire before the bed where the stranger lies. When he asks what use is a fire like that, answer, you will see that presently. Each step matters. Then seize him and throw him into the center of the fire. If it is your son, he will call for your help. If not, the thing will go through the roof." The old man had made the test sound simple. It was not. The figure in that bed still wore the face of McEachern's son, and certainty would come only after the smith placed his hands upon it. The smith, holding to the old man's word, kindled the fire until it roared in the hearth. He replied to the question in the appointed way, the air pressing close beside the flames. Then his hand closed around the child, swift, sure, and tossed him into the heart of the blaze. One terrible yell burst from the changeling as the thing twisted upward, driving through the roof, smoke chasing it out through the waiting hole. For a moment, that might seem like victory. It was only proof that McEachern's true son was still somewhere else. The old man spoke in the hush of night. The green round hill with the boy lost to the fairies would stand open soon. On that night, the smith must gather a Bible, a dagger, and a crowing cock before setting out for the hill. He would find the air alive with hidden song and the pulse of dancing, so he had been warned. He was to advance without pause, Bible in hand, each step deliberate, the order of actions set against whatever watched from beneath the earth. To break the spell at the threshold, the smith was to drive the dagger into the gap to keep the hill from closing. The old man's voice pressed on. Once inside, the smith would see a wide chamber swept clean, and further in, past the reach of light, his son working at the forge. If the fairies demanded his purpose, he must answer plainly. He came to find his child, and he would not leave without him. The smith, carrying only what he was told, left as the time demanded. As he moved toward the hill's base, a thin glow punctured ground long unfriendly to such things, and something like music, pipes, dancing, merriment, traveled across the wind to the anxious father's ears, impossible to mistake, yet too distant to join. He suppressed each rising instinct to hesitate, advanced to the stone threshold, pressed the dagger into the crack as forewarned, and crossed over. The Bible set against his chest made the crossing possible. The fairies could not reach him. Still, they fixed on him, their voices edged and unwelcome, and demanded his reason for coming. His reply was steady. He had seen his son within and would depart with nothing less. In answer, those assembled erupted in laughter, sharp enough to break the hour, startling the cock asleep in his arms. The bird jerked upright to his shoulders, wings extended, and let out a crow that shattered the space, loud and unbroken. Infuriated, the fairies seized the smith and the son, hurled them both out from the hill's hollow, then cast the dagger after. All illumination vanished. Nothing remained but darkness. They had brought the boy home. The rest would be measured not in that night, but in the year that followed. For a year and a day, the boy did not work. He spoke almost nothing. One afternoon, he sat beside his father, watching as his father finished a sword meant for a chief, a careful, measured piece. Suddenly, the boy said, "That is not the way to do it," and took the tools from his father's hands. He worked in his father's place. Soon he shaped a sword, distinct. No one in the country had seen its equal before. From that day, the young man joined his father at the forge, their arms moving in tandem over the glowing steel. A rare weapon was drawn from their labor, its temper distinct, known for its unusual edge. The two smiths found themselves summoned day after day, the rhythm of work unbroken. Orders traveled from distant places, their names spoken in places neither had seen. Gold and grain arrived in measures unknown to their table before, and father and son continued their work beside the same fire. And there the tale leaves them. McEachern recovered his son, but never received an account of what happened beneath the hill. The sword is the nearest thing to an answer the story provides. What do you think the boy carried back from beneath the hill? Leave your interpretation in the comments. Subscribe to the Chronicler's Tales for more traditional stories told this way. Until the next story.